In a nation searching for answers, every household has a story, and every story is shaped by the politics of our time. Your struggles, your hopes, your future. We bring you the voices of the people and the leaders who must respond. Because a stronger democracy starts with informed citizens. This is where Zambia comes together to talk, to question, and to push for better. Your voice, your power, your Zambia. The Political Square. Only on BMTV. Zambia's light, Zambia's voice.
Good evening, Zambia, and welcome to the Political Square on BMTV, the space where leadership is questioned, ideas are tested, and ambition meets accountability. As we move steadily towards the August general elections, the spotlight shifts from promises to plans, from slogans to substance. And this is not a platform for noise, it's a platform for clarity. Here, we do not trade insults. We interrogate the vision. All right. We don't amplify propaganda, but simply examine the policies. And we don't chase that popularity. We certainly pursue the purpose. Tonight marks a significant moment. For the very first time on this program, we begin conversations with aspiring leaders who seek to represent their communities at ward level, the foundation of our democracy. Our guest this evening is HERBERT KUMWENDA, aspiring independent councillor for Chainda Ward 33 in Munali constituency. Mr. KUMWENDA says his agenda is rooted in faith, education, and civic engagement. But tonight, we go beyond the brochure. We ask what makes him different. What will he do that others have not? And most importantly, can he deliver measurable change? This is the Political Square, and I'm your host. My name is Temwani Nkata. Mr. KUMWENDA, welcome to the Political Square.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So, we set sail now and get straight to business. Tell us, who is HERBERT KUMWENDA beyond the campaign poster, beyond the suit, and beyond the gentleman who is promising change in Chainda?
Well, HERBERT KUMWENDA is a child, a soil of Chainda Ward 33. So here's the thing. I mostly want to put it down as Chainda Ward 33 because most people, when you say it's Chainda, they think of the township. They think of the community of being Chainda. But when you think of Chainda Ward 33, we've got parts of Ibex, we've got Salama, they've got parts of Minwood, we've got Avondale, we've got an area called Kwaventa, Acacia Drive, all that's part of Ward 33. So I am a soil of Ward 33. And besides the brochure and besides politics, I'm a youth advocate.
Okay.
I'm an entrepreneur, a journalist, and public relations practitioner as well. So it all trickles and borders around that.
Interesting. Tell us, before we go forward, maybe just for our viewers' purpose and sake, tell us about your background, your journey, and I think most importantly, what shaped your desire to serve?
Well, it all starts way back. I did my education basically in Ward 33. I started my education at a community school. Right. That was initiated by my late grandfather, Mr. Herbert Mwale. May he so rest in peace. Hence my full names, Herbert Godwin Mwale KUMWENDA. So it all started from there. You know, before the government ever declared that there'll be free education, free feeding, my grandfather took it upon himself to introduce that through Zambia Open Community Schools, ZOCs, and other NGOs. Started up a school that literally started from our veranda.
Right.
I schooled there. We had free education. We had everything that we needed to go to school. Free feeding. The only thing that was required from my end was to go to school with the lunchbox where I would find what I needed to eat. So it all started from there. I did my school from Chainda Primary School, known to many as Papa Mwale, then went to Chainda Basic School, now known as Chainda Primary, then completed my high school at Chelston High School, now known as Chelston Secondary. So it all went down from there. From there, I went to do journalism at Evelyn Horn, then marketing at Zikas and Sunshine.
Interesting. All right. So tell me, it sounds from your explanation like an organized place. You had lunch even then. Nothing new to the new system now, or we shouldn't call it new because it's always been there.
It's always been there.
But tell me, what specific moment or issue made you say I must step forward and probably come up and make a change in Monali constituency, Chainda, Ward 33? What do you believe has been missing in the leadership at ward level?
So I'll start with what level. It's, I'll say it in Nyanja, you get my point? You've been elected. You've been elected to serve. Your job is to advocate, to lobby, to ensure that that community is heard from a ground level. But basically what happens, whoever is elected leaves that spot. They have the luxury life and they forget. 4 years down the line, now, the 11th hour, they pop up to do certain things because they need to be remembered that they are doing the same things. But you see, this is what I'm trying to see, that we table it out.
Right.
I saw the vision and say, there's so much talent in Chainda Ward 33. Waste is piling up like crazy. And you see the waterborne diseases like cholera that hit. There was so many flooding that happened in Chainda itself.
Yeah.
What happened? Cholera hits. Then now we say prevention is better than cure. Why not prevent all these things before they happen? So this is where I'm seeing all these things from this angle, because there's so much as a leader that myself and my team can do. It starts from the level of accountability and transparency. Like I said, faith-driven as well comes in.
I like that. Your vision speaks about the faith, the education and the civic engagement driving development. But then how do you translate that vision into tangible results in the first 12 to 24 months if you're elected? So what are you going to do different from what's being done now?
Okay, so right now we know that the estimated population, the estimated unemployment population is around 701,000, which the trajectory is around 6 to 11 million. That was recorded in 2025. And you see, we speak of the junkie phenomenon.
Right.
So you say Tina Majanki, then what happens if you say Majanki Adiko, what plans do you have for them? So if in the 12 to 24 months in power, I'll ensure that waste management is key. That youth hub that I've been talking about in my manifesto comes to play. Because if you've been to our area, there's no much recreation there. What we have basically is, yes, we have sports.
Okay.
We've got a football ground, very nice football ground. We've got Chainda Bombers that is there. We've got mushrooming of academic teams that are coming there. So now this is a part where I feel like when I'm in power, myself and my team, 12 to 24 months, all those things that we've been talking about, which is the short term, come to play. Youth will be employed, the youth hub will come to part, and we're going to create cooperatives that are going to ensure that most of the youths get that funding from the microfinancing teams that they are helped out.
Interesting. I like the fact that you point out and stress the fact that waste management is key to be controlled. And also you highlight the fact that they are majanki, which translates to abuse, drug abuse.
Yes.
You empower these youths, right? Have cooperatives that will give them funding. How are you going to ensure that they stay away from this bad vice that is affecting the community? Because you hand them money, what guarantees do you have that they are actually going to be a bit more productive and invest their time and energy into productive stuff and not go back to abuse? What are the strategies that you're going to implement to ensure to keep these youths in these communities in Chainda Ward 33 busy?
So when you're trying to curb a vice, so my style of leadership still goes back to sports and arts. I'm a writer, I'm a director when it comes to theater and all this. So it all comes down to that. If we're going to work with NGOs that are willing to help. So remember I said, if you've been to Chainda Ward itself and Chainda Township, or I should say Chainda Compound, you should see we've got areas that we can allocate. Yes, we want a robust neighborhood watch. We want a Chainda police post. We have a Chainda police station, which is Simon Masakapwe's police station. But how best can we have it within the community where we work hand in hand with a team. So that neighborhood watch comes to play, and besides that neighborhood coming to play, we've got the partnership. We merge with the police officers, with the team, to ensure that we have a table that goes to just to ensure that we do not have this continuous junkie phenomenon around the area. So we take them out. We take them to the vocational training, so we can have short-term workshops where we will say, talking about carpentry, tailoring, mechanical works, because those people the same people what we're calling junkies. That person can be your brother, your son, your nephew. And how best are you going to help them? So this is what we will ensure. I keep saying ensure because I know it shall come to pass, because these are the things that we've seen, and the leadership is not taking so much to account to ensure that they help out, and we're going to do that when once elected.
Okay. What immediate relief can young people expect from you in the first term of office? I mean, vocational training is one, but how does this accommodate all those youths in the community that are quote unquote Majang?
You see, in my preamble, I spoke about the cooperatives. So you see, you can have any aspiring leader go to the community and say, Nzakupasan manchito. Manchito yazachuka kuti. We've got people with degrees, PhDs that have just been banked. This is where I kept talking about the cooperatives. From there, from the skills training, from the talent that you have. I'll give you an example. I've got so many people that I know that have PSV driving licenses, but they do not have where to be employed. But what we're going to do through those cooperatives, they form up a cooperative. If it's 10 people, you find that there's a treasurer or a cashier or a person who's going to direct the daily activities. So meaning that they have a bus, they've been given that money through a microfinance or an NGO to ensure that they buy that bus. Once they purchase that vehicle, it's on the road. They're going to have a conductor, a driver, and the person who takes down the records. If that money needs to be given back to that lending company, at least they've got the records, they've got the books, it's been accounted for. If there are 3 people, they'll employ the other person. From 5 to 10 people, from that group, they create another cooperative. From there, it keeps building and growing.
Interesting. All right. Let's go back. I'll take you back to waste management and sanitation. I mean, waste management remains a serious problem in Lusaka. How practical is it at community-led waste cooperative model? What sort of model would you create once elected to ensure that waste management is P1 on your agenda, and the community does not have to every now and then, there's rainy season, be worried about these waterborne diseases?
So you see, when we speak of the onus is on each and every resident of Chainda Ward 33. Whether Avondale, whether Meanwood, whether Salama, whether Chainda compound, the onus is on us. Like they say, charity begins at home. It all starts from there. So if it's been...
I would say, though, that's a song that's been sung for quite a while, and it's never helped.
So when we're in power, we're going to ensure that all these policies have been put to play. Because if we say that we're going to establish 3 waste management points, that within a week...
These are collection points?
Yes, collection points. At least we are collecting, and we're doing that within a week. Because what I've noticed currently, it's once in a week. But you know that waste keeps piling up. And we found people, if you've been to the community, where you think they're carrying a child, then from nowhere they just dump, and you find literally on your desk, on your doorstep, you find that there's waste that's piling up. So those are the things that we're going to show, that we're going to, yes, there's a policy to say once you dump waste, you'll be fined. But it's not working.
No, it's not.
It's not. Yes, like you said, it's been a song.
Yeah.
Obviously now an album. But now what's happened? What are we going to do? Let's ensure that we have that civic education in play. Let's teach.
Right.
Let's engage with the community. Let's reach a point to say, how best you want us to help you, besides just say, okay, we're going to implement this, we're going to execute this. Don't impose, listen to the community, and this is what we're going to do.
Okay. Will you push for public-private partnerships in garbage collection, or do you believe the council must take full responsibility? What sort of plan do you have, looking at both sides of the coin, the private sector as well as the councils, which are there and are mandated to carry out these services, but are not doing it to full capacity, hence why we have these problems. How will you ensure that there is that cohesion between the two to get results?
I would vouch for both.
Okay.
So you see, the council comes in as governance.
Right.
And when you speak of partnership, it's best that it's implemented. Here's the thing. You can do certain things. Yes, there's the policy that you're supposed to do. But what else is the private sector going to do? Because that private sector is within that area. Council can do it from a certain angle. But I think the best part is to collaborate with the private sector and the council that we deliver 100% or even 200%.
Which brings me back to my question. How are you going to ensure there's cohesion between the two? Because you see, especially, I'll speak from my point of view. In my neighborhood, we have that option where you have the councils, which, well, for weeks on end will show up, other weeks won't. You engage a private person, also they've got too much to do. This week, they'll skip a week, come the following week, garbage is piling up. So for me, I'm thinking public-private partnerships should be a goal.
Yes,
but
should be a goal.
how are you going to ensure there is that modality of consistency between the collections? Because that is the issue, really.
Okay, so when we speak of, even when it comes down to open door policy and accountability, because yes, the council has implemented that and residents supposed to follow through, but that's not being done, like you've mentioned in your area. So the private sector, they'll know it's for their benefit as well, because we've got so many private entities that are willing to do these things. Because if you see even the waste management or waste collection managers being done by private sectors, it's rare that you're going to see an LCC vehicle being driven in some areas, because they are working with these private sectors. But the only thing is that how are we going to follow through with accountability? Sensitization. And, you know, we need to have day-to-day reports or weekly reports. We need to have an open forum where we get that feedback to say, has this been done? And if they're not working, then you take them out. You get other people that are willing to work with the council.
Okay. I do know for a fact now, we are literally at the climax of the rainy season. How is the drainage system in your area? How are you addressing the drainage and also prevention of waterborne diseases during the rainy season? I know you're not elected, but you're aspiring.
Yes.
What measures have you put in place to help the community even before you get to office?
So right now, we keep talking about civic education and talking about even before I'm elected. The proposals of phase distilting, and we know that, like I keep saying, the onus is on the residents. But right now, we keep sensitizing and telling them this is what we can do. I've worked with certain NGOs that are willing to help out, even the different corporate entities through the CSR programs. They're willing to do that. So through these little meetings, you keep telling them that, you know, you can do so much. You cannot wait for Boma Yanganepo. You get my point? Because now it's your community that's been affected. There's one thing that I like about Chainda Ward 33 residents is that as community, as a team, they've come up with different initiatives to drive that. There was a time that they had to bring in a tipper to do that collection, besides waiting for that private sector that is working with LCC to do that, because these are the initiatives that can be done through NGOs, through partnerships, and through corporate entities. They're able to do that.
Okay. One would say that's pretty much the mindset in most of these communities and wards. So how are you now rewiring your community to say, look, guys, it shouldn't be a case of Boma Yangarepo, and it starts with you. What's your message out there? What are you teaching the community when it comes to ownership?
Because it's as a parent, it all starts from there. For us to go far, we have to work together.
Right.
Alone, you can go faster. But if you want to reach a certain angle, you need to work together as a community. And this is the same thing that we keep telling them. besides to say no, and the end you can be called Vashi promise because you keep promising. But now we've started doing the works now. I partnered with a few organizations who were able to move in a tipper truck, gravel, just to work on the roads. You know, we've been doing these works.
Are these facts?
These are facts.
Is this on the ground?
On the ground.
Okay.
Check my socials, check feedback from the team. This is what we are doing on the ground. I can't come on the television and talk about these things if they're not facts.
Okay.
These are the things that we're doing. We're sensitizing because we want a better community for everyone.
I hope this just doesn't end on get me into office and then afterwards I've got a life to live.
No. Because you see, not talking bad about my opponents or the incumbent, but here's the thing about, you know, there are certain people who are aspiring because when I get there, let me get that Ford Ranger I've been wanting, let me get that luxury home, let me live that life.
Right.
I've reached a point where, yes, I'm more traveled. I've seen areas that even here we can change. I've been to different countries where you find that this city, this township is so clean. Why can't we do that? Like I mentioned, I had my late grandfather who started all these initiatives, free education and all that. For me, it's when I speak of faith-driven, it's where all this starts from. I do not want to rip. I want to give back to the community.
So you can do this without a salary?
A nice salary. No.
Yeah.
Salary, of course, but like I'm saying, I want to give back with all faith, with everything in me, just to give back to the community. That's what I want for the community.
Interesting. Listen, Herbert, let's move to education and recreation now. In Chainda, schools in many wards struggle with the case of overcrowding,
yes,
right, and lack of resources. What authority does a councillor realistically have, right, to influence educational infrastructure? You walk. I'll speak of Lusaka because this is our town. You drive around Lusaka, you walk around these communities. Most of the infrastructure we're seeing are malls and shops every other day. How are you going to make a difference in your ward and ensure that there's more facilities being built, or infrastructure, if you like, such as schools?
So you see, the powers of the councillor are very much limited. Our part is to advocate, to lobby. We've got machines that we can use like CDF. We can write proposals to NGOs. You see, we've got so many people that are willing, okay? Like I mentioned, that the businesses that are willing to give back to the community to help out because it's part of the CSR project.
Right.
So we're capable of doing all those things. As a councillor, yes, we're limited, but we can speak to the ministry. We can go out there to say, you look, come and visit. Let's have tangible, like let's have facts to say, this is what is backing these things.
Okay. All right. And how do you plan to mobilize resources for ICT labs or libraries without overpromising? I know you can only go that much, but look, somebody's looking for hope. If they're not getting it from higher level, it should start from there, right? So how or what other measures are you going to put in place to try and push further?
You see,
Again, without overpromising.
Without overpromising. You see, one thing about ICT, this is an abbreviation that I keep talking about, VUCA. When I say that the word is VUCA,
yeah,
it's volatile, it's uncertain, it's complex, it's ambiguous. Technology, we've got artificial intelligence taking over. We've got AI is everywhere. And people need that. Talk about ICT. Every school needs that knowledge.
The world is advancing.
It's advanced.
How are you going to help the schools in the community to get such technology?
So to that part, where I was trying to explain that, I keep talking about NGOs because NGOs are willing to assist. Through the ministry, they will help.
Have you had any tangible response to the NGOs that you've written to?
Yes, I've had. And there's a part that I want to drive, which I'll start, before I answer that, I'll talk about initiative of curbing the vice of breast cancer.
Okay.
Written to few NGOs, especially talking about free bra measurements, because most women do not know their actual bra size. We've done that. We've done that workshop before.
Yeah.
Tangible results, facts on the ground. An NGO that we wrote to, we gave out sanitary pads, facts on the ground. Written to them, this is what we are trying to drive in our community. How best can you assist? And they've been willing.
Have you received actual response to say, look, even before you get to office, we're willing to help this much?
Yes, I have.
And you've given back to the community once you've gotten that response?
Yes, I've had.
This is factual also?
Factual. These I've counted, the things that I have done currently. Yes, we've gotten some responses where they say, okay, we are overwhelmed. We'll see the few months to come, or maybe when we reach our financial year end, we'll see how we can squeeze you. But I've gotten feedback. The good part is that we have written. If I have the pile of papers, I would bring them and say, this is the response, this is what we're doing, and this is what we're looking at.
So the good part about this political show is we'll bring you here so you can sell your portfolio and your manifesto, and then we will get feedback.
Yes.
So we shall visit you so we can put facts to the things that you're saying now. And the viewers out there can actually see that this is just not word of mouth, and you're actually implementing some of these policies that you're mentioning here.
Yes.
And also, what role do sports and arts play in your developmental model for Chainda? There's a lot of youths out there, and you can't run away from the fact that recreation is one thing that affects youths at a large scale to a point where they find themselves indulging in these vices, alcoholism, prostitution. What recreational arts are you going to model for Chainda to try and curb these vices?
So when I spoke about a youth hub, so the youth hub will have a sports center. Besides what I talked about, the community having a ground, a sports center that will tackle literally every sport you can think of, even solo.
Okay.
Then when we come back to recreation, you see, we need to have, when you speak of mental health, because this is one thing that has been talked about, I said, no, it's not something very sensible. But we've got so many mental health issues that need to be tabled.
Right.
And through this hub, we're going to have everything that is needed, from recreation to everything possible, so that when we speak of the arts, we're going to have poetry that will speak to what is going on. Drama production through theater. Like I'd mentioned earlier, that I'm able to write, to direct. So all these things, we've been doing that. Currently, we have a group called the Peer Outreach Team, involved in drama production, poetry, and we've been doing that in the community. Facts on the ground.
We'll check that.
Please.
Let's talk now a bit more about the infrastructure and safety in Chainda. All right. Residents often complain about poor road networks and street lighting. What is your strategy to ensure Chainda is P1 in council budgeting?
So through CDF P1, we've been talking about, for the past regimes to date, we've been talking about a police post, like earlier alluded to. So the police post will be there with a neighborhood watch. Street lighting, I've been talking about this for the longest period of time. Through my manifesto, when I started, I spoke about the same, street lighting, that will be powered by solar energy.
Okay.
Now, the incumbent...
You can ensure every road in Chainda will have those street
Yes, right
street
now,
posts?
facts on the ground.
And I'm not talking, this is the main road that connects from one neighborhood to the other. I'm talking about the roads in Chainda.
Yes.
Right in the middle of the community.
Yes.
There will be lighting there.
We'll look at the roads that do connect to a different road. You can't say every little road that goes to a house should have street lighting. No. Let me not.
That should be the case.
Let me not overpromise. But where CDF will allow, will ensure that safety is key. It is the P1.
Okay.
Street lighting will be done. And because, yes, we've had issues of talking about electricity, which has been for the longest period of time a national crisis, we're going to have this street lighting will be solar powered.
Okay.
So from that part, we choose to trickle down to a point of clean water through pumps that will be powered by solar.
Interesting.
These are not promises, Temwani. Trust me. You're looking at me and saying, no,
well,
you're over-promising, but no, these are things that...
Just as the people of Chainda This sounds very interesting, and it would be nice to see it come into fruition.
Yes.
Let's talk now about governance and accountability. All right. Many residents feel disconnected from local governance, right? How will you make civic engagement consistent rather than seasonal during campaigns? You know, like I said, we see people come, it's election time, they've got all these promises. Right after they're elected, they disappear in those Ford Rangers that you mentioned.
True.
Come back again election time, and there's nothing being done in the communities. We hear these cries in our communities all the time. How are you going to stay relevant and assure your people, look, guys, I'm here for the period that I've been elected, and I will deliver. I'm on call every other day.
When you speak of quarterly civic forums,
Yeah.
my manifesto is on transparency, accountability, and open door policy. That's P1. Let me be accessible. Let the residents find me if there's need in the community.
Will you still live in the ward after you're elected? Do you live?
I live in the ward.
Okay.
Yes. The school is in the ward.
Yeah, you've given us your history and your
Yes.
background. You grew up there.
Okay.
But I'm talking about this time around now.
Temani, why would
As you're aspiring,
Yes.
do you actually live with the residents there in the community?
Yes.
Are you also facing some of these challenges?
Yes, I am facing those challenges. Like I said, we need to differentiate, because when you keep saying Chainda, people think it's Chainda compound. I've mentioned the areas in Chainda ward.
Also, it's selective,
Yes.
where you would want to live in the ward.
And I'll still live in the ward.
Right.
I've been there for the longest period of time. Why should I live?
Okay.
Trust me.
No, because you see, what's interesting is how you keep elaborating that it's just not Chainda and there are other,
Because it's the ward. It's not just Chainda Township. There's Avondale, there's Ibex, there's Salama. That's all part of Chainda ward.
Interesting.
Yes.
Will you commit to publishing quarterly progress reports to residents?
Yes, I will. Because
How often will you do this? I know it's quarter, but you see, if we go back now and check other wards, I can give you for a fact we will find that there's anomalies there. People
much.
don't. So how will you ensure that residents are previewed to these quarterly progress reports once elected?
So once elected, through the WDC, we're still going to have this meeting. So quarterly feedback is given, monthly feedback is given. WhatsApp, we're still up to date. I belong to the WhatsApp groups of the community. We know what's happening. It's easy communication.
Okay.
We speak of the media.
Yeah.
Radio, above the line, below the line, we're still going to do that. We're going to disseminate that information, that it's heard, and say this is what has been done.
Okay.
If CDF has done a road, if we have done the street lighting, or we've done an ablution block at a certain school or a school block, that feedback will be given. When we speak of accountability, let's give figures. Let's not assume, yes, the 40 million goes to the constituency. It's not stated how much is given to a ward, because the report from 2025, yes, we got 156 constituencies, about 6.2 billion kwacha is allocated to CDF, 40 million being under a constituency, which trickles down to a ward level.
Okay.
From every little ngwe, the feedback will be given, because it's the people's money. They need to know what it's been used for.
Do you have figures that were allocated to your ward by the incumbent and how possibly they have spent it?
That feedback has not been published. The figures are there. Like I earlier alluded to, the figures are not given. It's given to a block figure to say this is what has been allocated to Munali constituency. And I've noted the few things that have been done with that CDF for the past 4 years.
Right.
But now what we need is actual facts, actual amounts that have been used.
You will be able to give those
Yes.
amounts on how,
On
and
how.
exactly how those amounts will be spent.
We'll tabulate and say this has been allocated for this.
We certainly shall hold you to task.
Please.
All right. So, I mean, if elected, right, and you fail to deliver on these key promises that you're telling us this evening, what mechanisms should residents hold you accountable? What should they do?
Timoni, I'll not fail to deliver.
What should they do? I mean, you're here
Yes.
selling all these dreams. You're elected into office. You fail to deliver on these key promises. What mechanism should residents use to hold you accountable?
They should check on what we had promised. They should write to say, this is what has been done, this has not been done. They come through to the ward office. Speak with us. You mentioned, or you promised, or you assured us that this has been done, but this has not been delivered. Like I said, open door policy. We sit down, we table it out and say, this has not been done because, or this has been done, or our P1 was this, we had to divert funds because we needed to do this. That we're able to do. My team and I are ready to step in and do that exactly.
I still feel you're not answering the question. What then should be done? Are you going to step down?
To step, if I'm not doing.
On moral grounds, you're not delivering.
If I'm not delivering, yes, I'll step down.
Okay.
If I'm not delivering, I will step down.
This is on record.
On record.
On television.
On television.
Interesting. I'll move you to faith and leadership. Let's talk about you emphasize faith and values in governance. How do you balance faith-based principles with serving a diverse community?
So I'll take you back when Zambia was declared a Christian nation by the second Republican president. When we speak of faith-driven, because we believe, and even the Bible says, works or faith without works is dead. So if something is faith-driven, the work needs to be seen. So there's no difference. The faith is there to ensure that integrity has been monitored. You cannot show integrity if there's no faith, because like I said, I can be here to promise so many things, or I do certain things and I do not deliver, or I get the money and I squander the money. Where's the integrity there?
Yeah, but some argue that politics and faith should remain separate. And I could be one of those that believes that. It's one thing for me to have faith that you will deliver, and it's another thing for you to be in office and hold your word based on faith. Because you have to deliver.
Yes, true.
Right? What's your response to that?
There's a thin line. And like I continuously to mention that faith needs to be there for governance to prevail. We need the faith in politics. Because why we need the faith in politics, we have a national holiday, National Day of Prayer. So tell me, if we just wanted to run the country without all that, where would we be? Faith is needed. Faith is advised. So politics and faith play a very vital role.
Right. All right. Without attacking your opponents, what weaknesses do you see in other candidates' approaches right now? I know you're not the only aspiring candidate, but when you look around you, the competition, the people that are aspiring for that seat, what makes you see or makes you different from everybody else?
Most of them are showcasing seasonal leadership skills.
How do you know this?
Because I've been doing projects prior to me coming out publicly to say I'm aspiring for this position. There's some, like I said, even now, mushrooming of aspirants will be there.
Right.
And what I'm saying is the seasonal leadership is some want to appear in a certain area if there's disaster. Without that, they're not seen.
You are there constantly?
I am there. I shouldn't say 100%, but I'm there when available.
Which part of the ward do you live? You still haven't answered that.
Ward 33.
Which is?
Ibex.
Interesting.
Yes.
Do you have waste disposal problems in Ibex?
Yes, we do.
If you step out of your yard in Ibex, you will find garbage dumped. If you step out of your yard in Ibex, will you find floods?
No, we're not, because we've got different areas. Because even Avondale has the same issue. Even Chainda has the same issue. Ibex has those issues. But like I said, there's a proper chain of how we can do these things. When I speak of the proper chain of doing these things, it's a system when we're talking about points where this waste management is being done, which can be done in a compound like Chainda, and it will be done.
Okay.
Yes.
Why should a first-time voter in China trust you more than the established public figures that they have known?
For the first-time voter, I would say to you, I've been around. I know
In IBEX.
in Chainda Ward 33. I don't know why you so much want about.
Because for me, I find that some of these issues that are being faced, right? If we're going to look at garbage disposal, we're going to look at waterborne diseases, you're certainly not going to find rampant numbers in IBEX. That's the reason why I asked that.
You've been to Avondale.
Yes, I have.
You think there's no flooding in Avondale?
There certainly is in certain areas, yeah?
Certain keywords, certain areas. Do you think there's no flooding in Salama Park?
Well, of late, yeah.
You see, that's our 33. You know the famous mall that is in Salama Park?
Yes.
You've been there. You've seen the reports.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that's a compound. That's part of Ward 33.
Okay.
It's not one area, and this is what I want to make clear. We've got Avondale areas that are affected with water, with waste management. All these things are there. When we speak of the junkie phenomenon, IBEX are there, in Salama they're there, in Avondale they're there. It's not just Chainda compound. Chainda compound, Chainda carries the name of the ward, which is part of every area of
I'll tell you why I'm really bent on Chainda. I've seen videos and footage of you literally helping out in the community.
Yes.
It's not in IBEX. It's not in Avondale.
I've helped
seen you in Chainda.
Chainda compound.
Hence why my focus is
Yes.
there, because from your videos, it seems you're focused on that area.
Because as of now, that area needs the help. I've been to areas like Avondale as well. I helped out. Been to areas like Salam. Even the time the flooding had started at that named mall, I was there. We had members that were failing to go to their vehicles. We put in a team to say, we'll help out, move your vehicles, all those things, those are areas. We spoke to the incumbent. We checked in. The incumbent, if you saw on national television as well, that they came through to pump out the water. Because our part, here's the thing, I do not have so much power to say I can do so much. Because I don't find myself at the other side of the law. My part, as at now, as an aspirant, is to lobby, is to advocate. Once I'm given that power, once I'm in power, I'll know what to do exactly to help out the community, to help out people in Salama, to help out people in Avondale, to help out people in Minwood, to help out people. You've heard of an area called Kwaventa? All those areas need help. It's not just Chainda compound.
Okay, let's do one rapid fire round as we wrap it up. One policy you would implement immediately if elected into office.
Quarterly civic forum.
Okay. One bad habit in local governance you would want to eliminate.
Seasonal leadership.
Okay. Biggest misconception about councillors.
Councillors only appear if the issues they're never there. They appear and disappear.
3 words that describe your leadership style.
Transparency or transparent, inclusiveness, and faith-driven.
Okay. If you lose this election, what's next? Do we see you continuing these works in the community, or are you downing tools because then you'd have lost and you're not in office?
We're not losing. We do not wish to lose. But if that happens, we will continue. I've been around to help out the community through civic education, through youth empowerment, through other programs that I've done, and I will continue. It's not the end. If we lose now, it will be a stepping stone. We'll see, okay, checks and balances, what happened, what do we need to do to improve? But my mandate, or should I say the mandate that we have with my team, is to ensure that Chainda Ward goes to a different level.
All right. In 1 minute, speak directly to the residents of Chainda Ward 33. Why they should entrust you with their vote this election?
I am the man of the soil. I am Herbert Kumwenda from Chainda, Ward 33. I know the issues that we go through each and every day. Whether it's Ibex Temoni, whether it's Minwood or Salama Park or Chainda compound, my church is in Chainda, by the way.
Right.
So I see all these things on a daily basis. And my part is that choose a leader who's there to change the narrative. Do not choose a leader who just wants to go in power for their own benefit. Once elected, after 4 years, they disappear. Then you see them towards the election. That's not the type of person I am. I'm here to serve. I'm here to change the narrative.
Herbert, I'd like to thank you for your time. Our guest this evening was Herbert Kumwenda, aspiring independent councillor for Chainda Ward 33 in Munali constituency. BMTV viewers, this has been The Political Square with me, Tamani Mkata. Until next time, thank you for watching.
In a nation searching for answers, every household has a story, and every story is shaped by the politics of our time. Your struggles, your hopes, your future. We bring you the voices of the people and the leaders who must respond. Because a stronger democracy starts with informed citizens. This is where Zambia comes together to talk, to question, and to push for better. Your voice, your power, your Zambia. The Political Square, only on BMTV. Zambia's light, Zambia's voice.